welcome everyone to the Circle Debate Podcast. It's the host of Devious One, Ivan C. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I am joined by the greatest man. He is the icon of Southern California. He's my icon because I live in SoCal. This man has done it all. He has done it all in singles division, tag team divisions. This individual as well is one of the founders of the Wolf Saddies as well, one of the greatest tag team here in Southern California, people who do not know. And he's also part of one of the greatest factions in New Japan. That's TMDK. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, there's a reason why they call him a bad man. But I'll let Stephen A. Smith say,
he's a bad man.
That's right. He is a bad man. Ladies and gentlemen, Bad Dude Tito. What is going on, Bad Dude? How are you?
Good, man. I'm doing great. It's a great Sunday out here. Just had a match last night. Kind of feeling it this morning, but that's not going to stop me from jumping on the podcast and hitting the weight room later on today.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you very much for taking the time and coming on the show, man. It's an honor to have you. I mean, seeing your career, I've followed you since I would say 2020 is when, before even when the whole pandemic situation happened, unfortunately here for us in SoCal. But prior to that, I mean, you started correct if I'm wrong, and early 2019, I believe you started, or late 2019, or a little bit before that. I think you started for quite some time ago, along with Ches. So I mean, break it down to just very brief in your words, because I know everybody asks, hey, how do you all begin in wrestling? But here I'm going to ask you, put it in your own words, very brief. How was your journey? Began in pro wrestling. How did it all start for you?
So I've been wrestling consistently since 2010. I've been, wrestling every weekend since then. And then even before that, I actually started in 2002 or 2000. And I wrestled for a while, but I was still really young. I really wasn't getting the bookings I needed. So I kind of took a little break and then waited for my man body to kick in. And once that hit, I've been nonstop pretty much since 2012.
Man, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. And you've been around here.
2010. Sorry.
2010.
Yeah.
2010. That's a long career you have, brother, man. And I commend you for that. And man, and also seeing you around here, in Rival Pro and EWF, Santino's especially, and I know Santino's means a lot for you from the heart, with Mongo, and Joey Chaos. Break us down to us that brief, training alongside with Santino's, and how did that all, that relationship came about with Santino's?
So in 2010, I ran into a former wrestling buddy of mine at the gym, and he had seen how I put on size, because when I first started, I was only 16. I still was going through puberty and shit. So I was only about 180 pounds, 170 pounds. But then I had ran into my buddy at the gym, and I was like 220, I'd become a man, and he had offered for me to come back to wrestling. I wasn't really sure. And he said, well, why don't you come down to Santino's dojo? That's where we all train, see if you like it. If you want to stick around, then we got a spot for you. So then started going to the Santino's Wrestling Academy. Really loved it there. Got to be good friends with Mongol, got to be good friends with Chaos. And then I just kept going, every week. And then they're like, fuck, you're ready. You're ready to wrestle already. And I already knew I was ready. I had been trained before and had matches under my belt. So I just needed to knock off the ring rust. And I did that there at Santino's. And I've pretty much been there training since, and even becoming a trainer there too. So
that's awesome, man. That's awesome. And your first match, was it a singles, was it a tag, or were you in a battle royal? What was
my
your
first match ever? I had just turned 16. I wrestled another one of the students, and it was a singles match. It was me versus my buddy, my training partner, and our trainer had put the whole match together for us. So we just had to go out there and do it.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. And like I said, man, but for me, honestly, you're one of the icons here, along with Che, especially as a tag team here in SoCal, man. But yeah, of course, I'm gonna say it right now. I mean, we all hear PP Ray, and I love Ray and Peter Avalon, but you and Che, man, you guys rock the house any fucking time.
I mean,
And I mean that.
yeah, I haven't seen Ray and Peter tag for a while now. So do
I
they
know.
tag? Do they even tag still? I don't know.
You know what? It's been a while ever, of course, knowing what's going on in championship wrestling from Hollywood, but prior to that, I think it was the last year or I think early this year. I think was one of the last times that I recall.
Yeah,
But
me
it's
and
been, yeah.
yeah, me and Che, we wrestle together every month, every weekend. We've had tag titles everywhere we've wrestled.
Sure.
So everyone wants to put PP Ray above us, but I think we're better than them.
There you go.
Bigger, we're definitely meaner, and we bring the fight. We're not just gonna dance around like a couple sissies.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it. Oh man, I fucking love it. And speaking of Whoop Zaddies, how does that formation came about with you and Che? How did that relationship started, and how did it became in fruition?
So, at the time, I had been training at Santino's already for like 2 years. I was taking bookings already, for like 2 years, lots of shows, and then I was tagging with Rico Dynamite in SoCal, but I was also getting bookings in Vegas, and I needed a tag partner out there. And I always got along really well with Che during training. He was always, when you're training in the dojo, they kind of match you by size, so you kind of work together. And he was always my size, so we became great training partners, great friends. Turns out we like a lot of the same movies, TV shows. We have a lot of the same hobbies. That's like my brother. We got along great. So when I needed a tag partner in Vegas and Rico couldn't do it right away, I was like, oh, this is me and Che team. So we had been teaming for about 10 years now, and it started in Vegas, and then slowly we got more bookings in SoCal, and we've kind of just dominated the tag scene out here since then.
Oh yeah, man. What about the name Wolf Zaddies?
Oh,
how did that became?
That's just like some random thing that happened in a car ride, like Che was always saying daddy, or Zaddy, like, what's up? And we just look like a couple big wolves, so like a lot of our fans were like, oh, these guys look like wolves, or like sexy wolves or whatever. So we just have mixed both of them together.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It was just kind of a joke, but it kind of took off with the boys. So we're like, if it gets over the boys, more than likely it'll get over with the fans, and it did.
Oh, that's
awesome.
That's
like the most popular question I get is, what's a zaddy?
So it's kind of like, how Bill Alfonso, like, hey, what's going on, daddy? Hey, daddy. But he's instead of daddy, more like, whoops, daddy. Hey, zaddy, what's going on?
Yeah,
zaddy?
Exactly like that. Like it's just the new generation. They just threw a Z on it to make it. Yes, I don't know.
Love it. That's awesome, man. Love it. And I know during the pandemic, we had a stoppage here. There was no shows. There was nothing happening here in SoCal. I mean, a couple of shows, but it was more like no audiences. But very brief. I mean, what were we doing at that time? I mean, during that time of the pandemic, and did it backtrack you a little bit? Just not only as a singles competitor, but also with you and Che as a tag team, because you guys were in the hot. You guys were already. I mean, right now, currently, but that time, you guys were. Oh man, you guys were getting up there.
I feel like we are really about to take off. We had started just wrestling for Bar Wrestling. We had done 2 shows for them, and we were having killer matches with them. We were having killer matches all over. So it was, to me, I thought it was just a matter of time until we blew up, and then the pandemic came and kind of put everything to a halt, But during that time, I was telling Che, like, bro, it's gonna come back, and we have to be ready. A lot of these dudes are gonna let themselves go. They're not going to be training. They're not going to be eating right. And during the whole time during the pandemic, even when I wasn't able to get on the weights, I was doing home workouts. So, a lot of home workouts, shit ton of push-ups, deck of cards. If you're familiar with the deck of cards, most wrestlers, that's like a warm-up drill, but you could like higher the intensity with it. So I was just doing high intensity deck of cards, lots of fucking push-ups, still maintaining my diet, and was just ready for the world to open up because I was going to be ready for it when it did.
Oh yeah, definitely. And once it did, I mean, yourself and Che, I know that this is where I'm curious, but before I'll get to that, but what I wanted to ask is, how did it begin now with the you getting involved with New Japan Strong? How did that became in fruition, getting involved, with the dojo himself, and becoming part of the New Japan Strong family?
So I had done a few shows for Josh Barnett, the Josh Barnett Bloodsport, and I really think that's what caught the eye of the office for New Japan Strong, because there was a lot of New Japan Strong office members there at the show. So I just would go out there because I'm a grappler. I do jiu-jitsu. I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 5 years. I've done judo for 2 years, so that was like the blood sport stuff was right up my alley. If you're not familiar with blood sport, it's basically professional wrestling grappling, UWF style. They take off the ropes, so it's like there's no running. Basically, it's a lot of fight chain wrestling. So I had impressed some people there with my chain wrestling and grappling, and then also my intensity. Intensity is really big there for New Japan. All the top guys have really great intensity. So I had impressed somebody. Someone saw me and liked what they saw, and about a month after my blood sport in LA, I got a call, and they're like, "Hey, we have a date for you for Strong. Are you available?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm definitely available for that."
Oh, that's awesome, man. And speaking of Bloodsport, I think, and correct me because you mentioned had a match there. Was it with Roy Isaacs? Was that a match or
Royce this year at WrestleMania for Bloodsport, and then but I wrestled Eric Hammer, who's a training partner for Josh Barnett. Josh Barnett is a former UFC champion, so he's training with the best. So I had an opportunity to fight his training partner, and I think that's what really impressed some people at New Japan.
Oh man, that's awesome. And talk us through with New Japan. I mean, just the environment, the in the ring, meaning I mean with the crowd as well. Because honestly, I feel like obviously you have the experience. Of course, you're in the ring, but that ring feels like a boxing ring. I mean, I don't know if you tell me, but I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I don't know. It looks like a boxing ring to me, and it feels just like hearing the mat, hearing just everything. I'm like, shit. Oh, I cringe when I see that.
Yeah, man, that's a very stiff ring. You definitely don't want to get slammed on it, because when you do, you feel it. But New Japan's great. I feel like I fit right in. Everyone tells me I fit right in. It's the place I've always wanted to wrestle since I started training. So that to me, that's always been the goal, is New Japan. So I'm there now. Hopefully, I could keep the train going, and impress some more people and stay there for a long time.
And you know what? And you've caught eyes on a lot of people, nationally, internationally as well. Uh, how does the became about you joining TMDK alongside with Jonah? I mean, I know you tagged with Jonah for a couple matches. So I'm not quite sure if was it, I think in Washington, I think in DC, I think it was when
Washington.
he made it official, that you're officially now in TMDK. So how did that become about?
So my first match for Strong, New Japan Strong, it was me versus Juice Robinson. And Jonah had some heat with Juice. I'm not really sure what it was, but at the end of my match with Juice, Jonah came out, and I had just lost, so I was a little upset with Juice. So when they had their face-to-face, I thought, hey, what better time than now than to get a little payback on the son of a bitch. So I kind of held him down while Jonah kind of kicked his ass, basically. So I think once Jonah saw, what I'm willing to do, was to seek a little revenge, and then that kind of started our tag. He was like, "Oh, maybe Big Teats is all right," So we started tagging a little bit. Had tag match against Finjuice in Seattle then the next month, and then another tag match in LA, and we got along real good, me and Jonah, right away. We have really great, the same style really in the ring, and he just liked what I brought to the table, and then Shane came in to help out too. So it was Shane and Jonah who are TMDK, and I was just kind of helping out. And then in Washington, we had a big match against the Empire, and kicked the shit out of those guys. And that's when they decided to put me in TMDK. They said, maybe Bad Dude Tito's all right. We like his style. We like what he could do. He ain't backing down from no one, and he fits right in with us.
Oh man, and you perfectly do, brother. You really do, and I love what you've done. In New Japan. I'm really happy for your career. Honestly, from where you come from here, and from SoCal here, and being in Japan, especially, and your performance in the G1 throughout the tournament, like the whole tour overall was fantastic, man. Those tag matches you had,
Thank you.
Against Tanahashi, and everybody else in the roster. I know so far. And one question I want to ask how was that dream match? And I'm pretty sure it was a dream match, and fighting at Royal Quest against Okada. That must have been fantastic for you. I mean, I don't know how it was a feeling for you.
Amazing opportunity to get in there and showcase my skill against one of the best wrestlers in the world. Because that's who Okada is. He's #1 wrestler in the world. But at the same time, if I get in the ring with you, I'm not going to treat you like you're the #1 wrestler in the world. I'm going to treat you like you're my enemy. You're my op. And I'm going to take it to you. I don't care how much respect I have for you. I'm going to take it to you because I'm there to win and I'm there to look good. And I'm not going to lay on my back for no one. So if you want to come take this win, you're going to have to do that and take it. And I'm not going to go down without a fight. So it was an amazing opportunity. I think I definitely opened some eyes there. Definitely another match I'd like to run back to because unfortunately I didn't get the victory. But, you can't win them all.
Understanding, but that was a hell of a performance, man. I'll tell you that. I enjoyed that match. Great storytelling, honestly, from in and out. It was phenomenal. And how was the experience being in a ring with Minoru Suzuki? Because I know that has been another dream match of yours to get in the ring with Minoru.
Yeah, that was great. I've always looked up to him. I always liked that type of wrestler, the wrestler/fighter, and he goes all the way back to the Pancrase days. So that's to me that's like A1 number. That's what a wrestler should be. So being able to get in there with him, getting in there with a legend. Anytime you're in there with a legend, it kind of gives you the confidence in the wrestler you are. So if you get in there with the legend, you want to be the legend. You want to take his soul. So that's definitely what I try to do when I get in there with guys. But being in there with Suzuki was a great fight, and that's another one I'd like to run back because I didn't get the victory there either.
So far right now in that New Japan roster, who else is that you're looking up to and that you're looking forward to fight, and who's the other dream opponents in that New Japan roster?
So right now I think I'd like to fight Jeff Cobb. I think we match up pretty well. Um, Osprey is always another one you want to get in there with because he's another dude who's one of the best in the world. Shingo, I think too, we match up stylely really well. Styles make fights, so I think #1 would probably be, and Tanahashi too. I got to wrestle him in some tag matches and some 6-mans, but I'd like to get in there with another legend like him and really take it to him.
Oh yeah, definitely. And how about Zack Sabre Jr. though?
Zack Sabre Jr. is fucking amazing wrestler. I've been watching him for a long time. I really love his style of wrestling. It's amazing. He's a very technical guy. I really like that, and that type of style isn't easy to do, and he does it very well. So getting in there with him, like having a grappling background like myself, I would like to get in there with him. And I also have about like 60 pounds on him too, so I think I'd stretch his little skinny ass.
Let's love it. And being out there in Japan, how's the culture like? Meaning, like, staying out there in Japan. I do see a pic of you and Jonah. The famous steakhouse Riviera. I mean, I'm curious. You know what? It's funny because I never ask anybody. Now that your experience, because that's two questions there. One with the environment over there in Japan, like just the culture itself, and how was that steak?
Well, the steak is good. I don't know if you followed me on social media, but we ate at steak almost every night. We were eating steakhouses. We were eating top tier steaks, Wagyu, Kobe beef. It was amazing. But the culture is great, man. I really do love the fans out there. They're probably the best fans in the world. They really get wrestling. They understand wrestling. They know the history of wrestling, which is very important, I think. But it was amazing. I'll wrestle out there anytime they offer me because the wrestling culture in Japan is fantastic. You'll be in the gym, they'll stop you in the gym to talk to you, walking down the street. They know who you are. They're outside your hotel wanting autographs and pictures. So it really was amazing. It's the best fans in the world. No idiots like they have out here in America.
Unfortunately, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, it's an unfortunate. That's why I respect a lot of New Japan.
a lot of idiots out here in the States that think they know more than the professionals.
And I always wonder why I'm with you. I digress on that too. I'm with you on that. Now, talk to me about your experience also just recently, besides the match you had yesterday, but prior at PCW Ultra, you faced Tio Leona.
Yeah,
And break it down for us.
yeah, I had a match against Tiola. Sorry, I always have trouble pronouncing his name. I had a match with Leona, and I knew who he was because I've tagged with him in Vegas quite a bit last year, so I knew what he brings to the table. He's a big, big fucking dude, man, and he's strong as hell. He's a former power lifter, former college football player, and has great intensity. I knew how strong he was going to be, but yet he was even stronger than I expected, if that makes sense, because he's like superhero strong. Um, big tough dude. I think I might have went in there with the wrong strategy. So if I get back in there in the ring with him, I'm definitely gonna have to resort to some grappling and break it down, grab a body part, really fucking stretch it out. I think I tried to match power with him, which was probably a bad idea, but that might have been just my ego getting to me a little bit. I don't know if you know this, but some of us pro wrestlers have big egos.
Oh yeah, I do. I do know for sure. That is for definitely I do know that. And then after the match, I mean, of course, Shane Hayes came, of course, helped you out, you know, and I see Tio pretty much okay challenging you guys and might
Yeah,
bring his partner along. So I mean, are we gonna get that? Are we gonna see TMDK versus Gates of Agony? Is that what we're gonna see? I
I
mean,
that's what it looks like, right? I mean, right before the match ended, I had my boy Shane come out and help me out. Unfortunately, the ref saw, so I got DQ'd, but that didn't stop us from putting the boots to him. I mean, if he wants to bring his partner, be my guest. Me and Shane just wrestled the best in the world in Japan the last month, so we're ready. Also, we got a lot of friends too. If you think it's just Shane, we got Jonah in our back pocket. We have Mikey in our back pocket. We have a couple other tricks up our sleeves too. So don't think it's just going to be a 2-on-2. You better have your head on a swivel.
that's right. That's right. And one question I wanted to ask. I mean, you're the only American in the group of
Yeah,
TMDK. Everybody else, I think, they're Australian.
Australia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Can we see Ched joining along? TMDK? Can we bring them along?
You know,
Have the Whoops Daddies and TMDK?
I would love to get Che there. I think he fits right in. He's a big, tough dude. But that's not my call. I just joined this year, so if it was up to me, he'd be there. But we'll see what happens. It's like I said, we got a lot of tricks up our sleeves. We got a lot of aces up our sleeves. You never know what we have in store. It might be a 250-pound Che Cabrera cracking you upside your head. So
Love it, Zaddy, love it. I hope so, because I mean, Chet does perfectly fit with TMDK. I mean, and think about this. I mean, you have United Empire. How many fucking teams they have?
a
I mean,
million.
having a million on their faction. I mean, might as well even up the odds. Bring in the Wolf Zaddies there.
I'll say this: we're always on the lookout for talent that could help TMDK. I'll say that.
Awesome, love it. Hell yeah, I love it. And wanted to ask too as well. So currently, right now in your career, what has been really like one defining moment so far in your career?
I think especially recently, so in Japan right now, they're still really strict with their COVID rules. So right now they only have I think they lifted it a little bit, but when I was there, they only had a 50% capacity in the arenas. And not only that, but you couldn't cheer, you couldn't chant. All you could do is clap. So one thing I like to hang my hat on, and that I feel is like a big accomplishment, was once they lifted the restriction for cheering and chanting, the first match back at Cork Hall was me versus Suzuki. So to me, I think to me that was a big deal and an honor to be the first match after 2.5 years the crowd to cheer, and I thought that was really, really awesome and a big responsibility for me to put on my back along with Suzuki. And I think we really gave the fans something to cheer about, and they seem to be really pumped. They're chanting my name in Cork Hall, so that's a big deal to me.
Yes. And I was watching that, and I was watching it on Japan World. So I was really happy. Honestly, I'm like, it's we do New Japan shows every Tuesday. We cover it, what's going on. Mm-hmm. I honestly, that I have you here. I have every time when I mention you, I have goosebumps because like I said, I've seen you for quite some time, and I'm really, really happy for you that where you're at this moment and continue to strive, and keep going, man. I'm really happy because I'm a big fan of yours, and you remind me of. Of course, they're going to tell you, everybody. I'm pretty sure you hear it all the time. Dr. Death is the look because of the hair. For me, the in ring is more like a little bit of Scott Steiner as well.
Yeah,
you have that.
Yeah, I like to think I'm a combination of both.
Yes,
or like a more athletic, smaller version of Dr. Death. Because I'm 250 pounds. I mean, I'm no small dude, but Dr. Death was a big ass motherfucker. So, but I am really athletic too. I like to get that in, definitely in my offense. That helps me out. So yeah, and Scott Steiner was another dude, big guy, athletic. So it's a good comparison, I think. But also, I like, I'm my own man. I bring my own stuff to the table too. So, but yeah, I'd say that's a fair comparison.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, and yes, you are your own man. You do bring a lot to the table. I mean, not only just brawl style, but innovative moves as well that people are like, oh shit,
yeah.
And I love it, man.
I could do it all. I definitely favor brawling and being a powerhouse more than anything, but I'm not afraid to get on the mat and grapple. I'm not afraid to use my athleticism. I'm not afraid to do some high flying maneuvers either, which I do occasionally. I did some last night. So I can do it all. I bring a little bit of everything, and wherever the fight goes, I'm willing to take it.
Awesome. I love it. 2 more questions, and then so I can get so you can enjoy the rest of your day. Question, So the first question is, if you were able to book your own dream match, who would it be? Who would it be? And for what promotion?
I would maybe do like a War Games cage match, and it would be like me, Shane, Jonah, Mikey, and Che. All right, so that's what, 5 guys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys. And since it's a dream match, then I could pick people that passed away.
Anything you like, seriously. So yours.
Road Warriors, Macho Man, let's throw in Dr. Death, and Ultimate Warrior, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure. These street. I just picked the guys I like.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Last question here. So, what Bad Dude Tito will be doing if there was no pro wrestling?
Oh shit. I don't even know. My life is consumed by pro wrestling. Like, I wake up, I think, I eat, I breathe pro wrestling. So without pro wrestling, I don't know. I'd probably still be in the gym. I'd probably focus more on grappling, maybe. I'd definitely have some kind of shit 9 to 5 job that I hated or something. So, but you can probably just focus more on grappling and martial arts.
Hey, I mean, your attributes is martial arts. You never know. You possibly could have stepped into the world of mixed martial arts. Maybe so.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
Who knows? I mean, who knows? But I'm glad that glad you're doing fantastic, and I'm happy of where your career is going at this moment. And I wish you nothing but the best to continue it, man.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
And I appreciate you for taking the time. But before I let you go, back to Tito, because he's a bad man, ladies and gentlemen. Where can the people find Bad Dude Tito?
You can find me on social media, Bad Dude Tito on Twitter and Instagram. I have a few shows coming up next week. I got New Japan Strong on Sunday. I got United Wrestling Network in Irvine at the Irvine Improv on Tuesday. So I'll be there with my ass kicking boots on, ready to take some names.
Oh yeah, and I will be there for you versus Kenta at the Vermont Hollywood next Sunday. I will be. That's going to be a brawling matchup. I can't wait to see. Oh man, that's going to be good shit. I can't wait.
Thank you.
Oh man, thank you so much. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you follow Bad Dude Tito all over his social media platforms, especially in IG, because he's more active on IG. You see, I'm not a stalker, right? But I know that you're more active on IG than Twitter. I know that.
Yeah.
But yes, make sure you follow him, ladies and gentlemen, and keep on, supporting TMDK, Wolf Saddies, and the bad man himself here, Bad Dude Tito. And we appreciate everybody for tuning in. And once again, thank you very much, Bad Dude, for taking the time and opportunity for joining me today. I can't wait to see you on, Strong, and hopefully see you PCW Ultra again, because I want to see that happening. I'm hoping so. Yeah, I'll make sure.
Some unfinished business there.
Absolutely. Well, once again, ladies and gentlemen, the host Stevie Swan IBC, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.